Hello friends, and welcome to my online studio alignment rescue. Today we're going to do 3 exercises, one for upper body, one for lower body, one for core. We're going to incorporate breathing and maybe even a little cardio. So this is a great little movement snack that you can insert throughout your day if you're working, because you don't need any special equipment, you don't need special clothing. We're going to be using a wall and a chair for these exercises. If you have a folded blanket or a few cushions to place on the chair, it might be helpful. So we're going to start with the upper body exercise. Each of these exercises has progressions, so you can make them a little more difficult if you choose to do so. So we're going to start by facing the wall, placing the hands against the wall at shoulder height with the fingers open, the thumb out, and then step back until you have a little bit of weight on your hands. So if I were to lift my hands, I'd just drop towards the wall, okay? Now you can make this easier by stepping in closer. You can make it more difficult by stepping further away. So I'm going to start about here, and we'll see if we can meet the objectives of this exercise. If we cannot, then we're going to step in a little closer. So the objectives are: push the wall away so that your shoulder blades are wide, and then bend your elbows. The elbows point straight down towards the floor. And just before the elbows touch the wall, you're going to straighten your arms back out again. The whole time you're maintaining the shoulder blade position nice and wide on your back. Nice and slow down and pressing out a little faster. You can do about 8 to 10 of these. You can always do sets of this exercise series if you want to make a little more of a workout out of it. Now, we're going to add a little bit of momentum to this. So I'm going to bend my elbows one more time, but this time I'm going to push away with a little more force. And I actually end up back over my feet with my hands off the wall. I fall forward, I meet the wall with my hands, and it's this deceleration of the forces that is so beneficial, because your muscles have to work eccentrically to slow you down so you don't hit your head on the wall. This is great for bone density. And again, the whole time you're making sure your shoulder blades are nice and wide on your back. So as I hit the wall, I'm not collapsing. Press, land, press, land. Let's end this upper body series with the thoracic stretch still on the wall. So I'm going to move my hands down a little bit to about chest height, and then step out till my arms are straight. Take my feet a little bit wider, bend my knees, and move my hips back into the center of the room, which will take my trunk down and through my arms. So if you look in the mirror to my side there, you'll see that my arms are essentially overhead relative to my body. So this is a nice stretch for the shoulders and the chest. We're maintaining our spinal curves here. So in other words, I'm not dropping my spine towards the floor. I'm pushing into the wall still, and the weight is over my feet. So if I take my hands off the wall, I'm no longer falling towards the wall. I'll just hold this for a few breaths. Breathing into the sides of your rib cage if you can, expanding the rib cage in all dimensions. And then we can come upright and step forward and remove our hands from the wall. All right, let's move on to the lower body portion of the workout. We're going to use our chair for this, and make sure your chair is not going to slide. You can always put the back of the chair against a wall and have a seat. So we can start by marking off our position. Have a seat towards the front edge of the chair. The feet are about shoulder distance apart, not too wide, but not too narrow, because you need some space to move between them. So I'm going to take my feet about the distance of the outside width of my pelvis. And I'm in a neutral spine position here. So I'm not pushing my chest forward or slumping, but somewhere between. And what I'm going to do is keep my ankles under my knees, hinge forward so my upper body weight is over my feet, push into my heels. You really want to press down through those heels, lift your hips, and come up to standing. Now, when you come back down, be careful that you don't shift your knees forward, or you might miss your chair completely. You want to think of keeping your knees over your ankles and moving your hips back in space, back, back, back until the chair, and then you can come down. If you fall into the chair, or if you're coming out with some momentum, then you need to bolster your chair up a little bit higher. So let's do several of these chair squats. And once you get going, you can decrease the amount of time you're spending in the chair to the point where you're just tapping it lightly and coming right back up again. Now, let's add a little balance element to this. I'm going to come up to standing and then do a calf raise. Whoops, maybe. And then drop down again and come up to standing and add a calf raise and drop down and come back to the chair. Stand, elevate, lower, sit. Okay, now what we can do is add a little bit of a jump at the top. So I'm going to come out of my chair, hinge, stand, jump, land, and sit. Up and back down. Up and back down. And let's do one more there. And back it down. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to move this chair out of the way. So in this exercise, we do come down to kneeling on the ground. If you don't want to be kneeling, or if your knees can't take that, you could theoretically do this exercise in a chair, but you do need a chair that doesn't have arms. So what I would do is sit in a lunge position on the chair sideways beside the wall with the chair about a 45-degree angle to the wall because we're going to rotate the chest, okay? So that's how you can modify that if you're in business attire or if your knees aren't happy about being weight bearing on the ground. I'm going to come down to the floor, and the knee that's closest to the wall is the forward leg. I'm going to come a little bit closer to the wall. Now, I'm going to rotate towards the wall, but if I let this knee come with me, then my pelvis is rotating with my upper body. So there's not really much change in the length of the core musculature. So we have to keep this knee forward as we rotate. So I'm going to actually kind of push it forward a little bit and then rotate my upper body, my rib cage, to the wall. Once my hands are on the wall, I'm going to take this back hand, which in my case is the left hand here, and push a little bit more. So that will increase the twist. And then we just pause here for 3 to 5 breaths. And then you can come back to center. And let's do the other side. So we'll come up to standing and we'll turn around. A lot of times people think of core exercise as something that shortens the core, that contracts it. But I love this exercise because it lengthens the abdominal musculature. And then you can challenge that maintenance of the length with expansion of the rib cage. So you're mobilizing the ribs, the thoracic spine, and the abdominal wall. So let's again, we'll come down. The forward leg is the wall leg. The knee is close to the wall. You're going to push that knee forward so it stays forward. Rotate the upper body, rib cage, take the hands to the wall. Use the back hand to push a little bit more, potentially increasing your rotation. Remember to keep that knee forward, and we'll just stay here for 5 breaths. Keep expanding the rib cage as you inhale. And that's it. You can come back to center, come up to standing, And we're done for our little exercise snack for today. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, you can add them below the video or send me an email. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Take care, keep moving, and I'll see you in the next video.